We're going to get right into it. We have 9 topics today. We're going to start with Jed York. If you missed it, at 3 o'clock, I reported that Jed bailed on the 49ers at halftime against the Dolphins. They were down 30-7. He'd seen enough. He got in his car. He stormed out. He drove the wrong way down a blocked off street, and the police officers had to tell him, dude, go the other way. So my question to you 3 is, are you surprised that Jed York did that? Are you disappointed that Jed York did that? Or is it really not a big deal, and would you have done the same thing in his situation? Maverick, why don't you start us off?
This is a hard thing to start off on, but I mean, if I was myself at that game and I was not a working person, I would definitely have left sooner than that fourth quarter. But I understand the problems with the owner still are leaving early. That's all I really have to say. It's a weird thing. Jed, I think, needs a better PR team just for himself, not just for the team, but I think he himself needs multiple people. Not that anyone's doing anything wrong, but just like it seems like he always is in the news for bad reasons, not good reasons.
Are you saying he needs a babysitter? Maybe he needs a babysitter. I don't know. A chaperone. Let's say he needs a chaperone. Okay, Leo.
Yeah, this is a terrible look. You just don't do that as the owner of an NFL franchise, no matter what the score is, no matter if your team is getting blown out. And we've been questioning the leadership of this team with guys like Staley gone, Sherman not in the building, and your owner does that. So it's just kind of going down and trickling down to everybody in that locker room. Now we have Kendrick Bourne tweeting out, if you hate me, I'm going to block you. And Quan basically echoing that, saying, oh, they loved us last year, they hate us this year. And so when you do that, it's a business. That's how everyone treats the NFL. It is a business. So after a game like that, you shake your players' hands, you pat them on the back, and then you have a meeting with the coaching staff to figure out what the hell happened on the field. You don't just take off. That is horrible, and that's a losing mentality. Oh, I didn't get my way, so I'm out.
Yeah, I mean, there are 15-year-olds that have more maturity than that. Nick, you're right.
That's my next point. I mean, I grew up in a family of season ticket holders, and when I lived through the Dennis Erickson years, the Mike Nolan years, the Mike Singletary years, and as a season ticket holder with my family, I would refuse to leave games early no matter how ugly the score was. It just didn't sit right with me. So as an owner, how are you going to leave your team? The coaches can't just choose to walk out. The players just can't choose to not finish the game. So what entitles you to being able, other than the fact that you're the owner of the team, it's just not a good look. It's not all for one. It's not that sort of mentality. And it's exactly what the problem is with the 49ers. It's just like everybody's in their own little world, in their own little bubble with different agendas. That's what the feeling is like, in my opinion, in Santa Clara. It's an awful look. Am I surprised by it? A little, yeah, because you think Jed York, I was listening to what you had to say about the situation, the article that you broke, Grant. Was handed this team 12 years ago. Over the course of 12 years, he's gone through various head coaches, had his rough patch with Jim Harbaugh. You'd think he would learn and mature by now. And the overall look of the ownership is not good, and it's trickling down. The trickle-down effect is getting all the way down to the players, just like how Leo's touched on with what Kendrick Bourne, Quan Alexander have been saying. And just the leadership with Mike McGlinchey, which we'll get into later, but it's an awful look.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised. I got tipped off on this yesterday. And when I didn't report it yet because I got to get 2 sources, and I got the second one today, and then I went with it. But when I heard it, I was like, that's Jed. That is the Jed I know. And everyone has sort of like built up this fantasy that he's grown up and matured because he hired Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch. My attitude was, just wait. Just wait. Jed can't help himself. Jed's nature is to be a petulant, acting person who is much younger than he really is. Just wait for one bad loss, one bad game at home. So I'm not surprised at all. This is his nature. And what I don't like about it is, I mean, it'd be one thing if Eddie D did this, after having 5 Super Bowls and he had some coach and he's like, this is just disgusting. This is so beneath me. That's not beneath Jed York. What has Jed York ever accomplished in his life? Nothing. So when he walks away from a team, it's like, why are you separating yourself? That's you. That's an embodiment of you on the field. Own it. I mean, you have no accomplishments next year. The one thing he could point to is building that stadium in Santa Clara, but Harbaugh built that stadium. That's the house that Harbaugh built. They got the funding for that and the momentum based off of their 13-win season in 2011. If that didn't happen, there'd be no stadium in Santa Clara. By the way, that stadium stinks. It's the most mediocre stadium of the new ones built the last 10, 15 years. It's so generic. Jed can point to, hey, I got that built. Eddie never did. We make a lot of money. No. Harbaugh got it built. You lucked out getting Harbaugh. You messed it up. You lucked out getting Kyle. Are you going to mess it up now? A couple of months ago, I told you that there was strife in the organization between Jed and John Lynch. And John Lynch basically had to work hard to get an extension that was promised to him. And what I told you is that someone high-ranking in the Niners called John Lynch the Jesus freaking Christ of that organization because he's the buffer. He keeps Jed York away and prevents him from being Jed York. Well, you can only prevent the owner from being the owner so long. It's not like John Lynch is the chaperone in the owner's box, strapping him down to his seat and keeping him there. If Jed wants to leave and act terrible and put the Niners in a bad spot, that's on him. So I think let's get to the next question. So
well, really quick. I was going to say, I saw a comment in there from a while ago saying, who cares? Well, if you're a fan of this team, you should absolutely care if your owner is walking out on the players, because I'll tell you what, those players absolutely care of the type of owner they have. 100%.
Yep, absolutely. So we all agree that it's not only a bad look, but it's like a dereliction of duty. An owner, fans have more loyalty to the team than that. The owner should be loyal. Should all be having each other's backs. And like one of you said, if you got a problem, have a freaking meeting the next day. Don't just go home and like throw stuff at the wall and yell. I could do that. At least if you're going to do that, go live on YouTube so we can watch it.